Hello there, I'm recording this video on the 24th of July 2020, which happens to be the day that the UK government have decided to impose mandatory wearing of face masks on everyone in the UK when entering stores and coffee shops and other establishments. And this is only the latest in a number of measures that you'll be aware of to supposedly prevent a second wave of this COVID-19 virus, which, if you believe the rhetoric of the mainstream media, happened to come into being in a market in Wuhan in China. I don't believe that narrative. The reason I don't believe it is because I know the agenda, which is control of every man, woman and child on this planet, reduction by millions of the number of people on Earth, and the ultimate goal of connecting the remaining people to artificial intelligence that would control all thoughts, all emotions, and give ultimate power and control to a few people. I won't call them the elite because they're not the elite, but they are certainly financially enormously wealthy, and they believe that that wealth and that position gives them authority over the rest of creation, which of course it doesn't. But that's the agenda in a nutshell. There's obviously a lot more to it than that. I could have made this video 40 years ago because I knew back then what was planned. Not the detail, but I knew the general synopsis, the general plan, because I was given it from the afterlife, from those that work with me. And I've never forgotten that. And today it's becoming more and more evident as what was once hidden in plain sight is now coming to the surface, and more people are waking up to it. But not enough, unfortunately. And it's, on the one hand, a good thing that people are exposing the agenda, or posting on social media about individuals and governments and corporations and what they are doing, what they plan to do. And it does help raise awareness. But at the same time, it doesn't change anything, in that it doesn't stop the agenda, which just rolls on like a juggernaut from day to day, seemingly gaining more and more power and momentum. And it's occurred to me on more than one occasion that, yes, although people are waking up, a lot of what is being revealed, and a lot of the information that's being exchanged in social media and other platforms is of a negative variety. And we need to change that. We need to focus more on the positive. Those of you who know the way that the elite, there's that word again, work, will know that they use many methods to impose the agenda on the human mind. One of these, which is a very powerful one, is called predictive programming. Hollywood, in particular, uses this to produce movies that portray a dystopian future, and this has been done time and time again, relentlessly, through all kinds of movies like Terminator and and those types of films that portray man as being downtrodden and destroyed and controlled, and it paints a very bleak picture. At the same time, you get all kinds of information being spoken and revealed through mainstream media and organisations in the UK such as the BBC, which have this relentless attack on the human race. Every news item has to be related somehow to COVID-19 or coronavirus or to terrorism or to other negative aspects that are happening, and there's seldom any positive news, any good news. If you understand the nature of reality, and I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I have come into the understanding over recent years that nature isn't what we think it is. Reality isn't what we think it is. Reality is directly related to what we believe, what we think, what our intent is. Therefore, it makes sense, doesn't it, that if we want to change the nature of reality, we have to change ourselves. We have to change our intent, our purpose, our aspiration, our hopes, our belief system of what we would like the future to be. Now, if programming the human mind didn't work, then the elite people behind this agenda wouldn't use that method. The fact that they do it, the fact that their symbology is all around us on ancient buildings, in the media, in the music industry, on album covers, CD covers, in films, as I've already mentioned, in the press. And it's, if you know what you're looking for, it's easy to spot. It's easy to recognize the symbology. Even companies such as Disney implant hidden agenda into their movies, into their cartoons in particular. Even the Disney logo has the embedded 666, which most people wouldn't recognize unless they know what they're looking for. So, those of you who know the power of words, the power of images, and the power of symbols will know that if you focus on negative symbols, the human mind creates a negative reality. If you concentrate and focus on positive symbols, positive images, positive intentions, positive outcomes, then you're creating a positive future, positive reality. If you have any idea of or understanding of the way that Reiki works, you will know that Reiki practitioners, Reiki masters, use Reiki symbols when sending healing to people who are in need. And the very focusing on the symbol links that individual and the healer into an energy field, an attractor field that is embedded with healing power, healing energy. So it's a good thing to create a positive image. There are a number of positive images around. Some of these, of course, have been inverted, turned upside down, back to front by the agenda. The swastika being a classic one, which began life as a positive, esoteric or religious symbol, but was adapted by the Nazis in the Second World War. So it was inverted to become a symbol of evil. So you get the idea of where I'm going with this. And if we can focus our energies positively and with intent, then that's the aim of what I'm trying to create here. You might be interested to know that just before 9/11 happened, there was a spike in human consciousness. There is an organisation whose name escapes me now, who have a way of monitoring energy fields worldwide. It's part of their research, and they reported this sudden spike around the time, or just before, the Twin Towers were allegedly attacked. And that shows that there is a great power there in human consciousness and in the unconscious reality, in the collective unconscious particularly, that if it's harnessed can be used in a positive way. So there's two aspects to this going forward, and I'm going to produce a second video to outline my thoughts in more detail. But there's two aspects to this, which I'll just leave with you here. One is that we have to disconnect from the mainstream media, from the daily barrage of negativity that is programming the human mind. It's programming your mind, even now, whether you're aware of it or not, because you can't escape it. But you have to disconnect. We have to disconnect from the mainstream news. Don't watch the evening news. Don't listen to the news flashes on the radio or that which comes up on your phone. Turn it off. Disconnect from it. I know it's hard to disconnect when you're in the high street because you've got all these signs and arrows on the floor and people telling you where you can go and where you can't go and all of this nonsense. But if you can disconnect from that, do so. Don't blindly follow the agenda. Don't necessarily do what you're told to do. Remember that you are infinite consciousness, all powerful, all knowing, all that ever was, all that ever is, all that ever shall be. That's what you are. You're not some poor little minion, some poor little self that has to do as it's told. You are all powerful. No one is your master. No leader, no organisation, no government has any authority over you as a being. You are awareness. You are infinite awareness. Remember that. So that's the first thing, disconnecting from the mainstream agenda that is programming you either consciously or unconsciously. Secondly, I'll be giving you an image to focus on. And in the second video, which I'm going to do in a couple of weeks' time, you'll get an idea of how to do this and when to do this, if you wish to. There's no obligation. I'm no more an authority than anyone. I'm only putting this out there as a suggestion, as it's been given to me from higher beings, higher sources, if you want to put it that way. So the choice will be yours, whether you ignore it, whether you laugh at it, whether you scoff, or whether you embrace it, whether you take it on board, and whether you see and realise the potential we can make, the difference, potential we have to change the reality.